What is that, party people? Oh, looks like they're debating it on the floor. Here's the thing. Here's something else that I don't think people realize. Donald Trump could just say, release everything. We don't need any of this. He could do that.
I think he's wanting to give them an opportunity to go on the record saying, I voted to release it.
Yeah. See, there was nothing there. All they got was these people over here that were bad. They're my enemies. I can't believe that. But they're debating on the floor. Johnson just said it'll probably be unanimous. Now what? Here's the thing. Well, he said last night the stuff that can be released will be released. Everything's going to be redacted. We're not going to see anything. We're not. And so understand that that's what's going to happen. They're going to give us very little, and know that this administration, along with several other administrations and people in high places, not just here, in America, also in other countries, did everything they could to cover up absolutely one of the most horrific things done to young women. How many of them? 1,000 plus. So think about that for a second. We should all be frustrated with that. So yes, if you want to know, they can get away with it. How's that make everybody feel? They can get away with it. What we were listening to earlier, our buddies over on Breaking Points, where they were reading something from, was it The Wrap, where there was a lady who's super liberal. She goes, I used to hate going to Thanksgiving because I had that uncle who used to say that there is a cabal of powerful men who are child molesters who run the world. And she goes, I used to think they were crazy. Now I got to admit they're right. Just ridiculous. All that being said, today, MBS is in town. If you don't know who MBS is, that is bin Salman, who is he's the crown prince of Saudi Arabia. He is the guy that is the dude when it comes to Saudi Arabia. I mean, there is nobody. This guy he's in charge of the investment fund. He's in charge of everything. And the stuff about Khashoggi is hanging out there. And if you guys don't know what happened to Khashoggi, it was a horrible thing. It was. When it comes to what happened to him. And everybody, and by the way, it's not just, like Trump meeting with him. You remember when Biden had to go out there? He had to finally put his tail between his legs and go to Saudi Arabia and go, could you guys turn the spigot back on? Because OPEC's all, as OPEC does. And he goes over there, it's like, oh, can you turn on the spigot? And they're like, no. And Trump's going to get a lot of crap for it. By the way, he's trying to cut deals, right? Selling airplanes, and he's trying to cut deals. Looks like he got anywhere between $600 billion and $1 trillion investment. Again, I have to look at the numbers, what it looks like, what's actually pledged and what might be pledged. But do I understand? Yeah, I understand why people would be uncomfortable with it. Remember when all the golfers went to the LIV Tour and everybody's like, I can't believe they're doing that, 9/11. Well, yeah. It sucks. I get it. It does. But we live in a time when it's a global world. We have to, especially in that region, have friends. We have bases over there. And you got to cut deals. You do. And what happened to Khashoggi was awful and horrible. But we're not going to deal, because we need some normalization if we're going to get Gaza and Israel into a situation where there's semi-normalization. We're going to have Saudi Arabia involved. We're going to have Egypt involved. We're going to have several others, including like Indonesia, who had thrown their hat into the ring, involved in these things. And so him being here, my question was today, it's the Swiss bought a Rolex, they brought gold, and they brought chocolate for Trump. My question is, what's he bringing? Because he's got all the money. He's got more money than the Swiss.
He's bringing one of those big, long scimitars that they use to execute people.
Have you ever seen how he travels?
Yes.
So if you guys don't know, when like, there's money and then there's stuff where you're just like, there's well-to-do, there's rich, there's wealthy, and then there's these people.
The plane that he has is so opulent, it makes Air Force One look like a
it makes it look like a joke. He flies with 2 planes. You want to know why? Because he also brings his own escalator because he doesn't walk down the stairs. They have like an escalator for him to get down. I was watching there's a video, I think it's of him, and it reminds me because somebody just sent a picture of I think it's a Falcon. I'm like, are you a Falconer? But I think it's like a 747 flying over, and it's all these falcons and birds of prey on top of the coach with their little thing over their eyes. And like, he sent somebody to go pick all these things up. Like, that's the kind of money they have. It's the kind of stuff we can't even fathom the opulence of this kind of stuff. That being said, we got to do deals with these people. We don't have to like him. He's trying to whitewash it. They're trying to sports wash, right? They just did the big comedy thing there. Well, you got to work with some people. I didn't begrudge anybody who went over there to comedy and got the money. Some people chose not to. Again, good for you. I didn't begrudge anybody for doing that. But we have to deal with these nations.
Apparently, they were paying some outrageous rates.
Yeah.
To kind of to just get these guys to go, okay, I'll do it just because it's so much money, even though I don't think I should. So like some people triple and 4 times what their normal rate would be.
Yeah. It was because people were being offered. So we're talking about a night, right? So like if you're a star, like a star, I think they offered Chappelle like $1.5 million. He did like 30 minutes or an hour, and they just told him, you can't make fun of the Royals. Outside of that, everything, do your thing.
No gay jokes.
No gay jokes. Unless it's gay negative, then have fun at it. But like none of that stuff. Because the thing is, they're trying to show, hey, look at us. We're trying to not be this barbaric world that everybody thinks we are. We're trying to get away from that. And yes, sports washing is a part of it. Entertainment washing is a part of it. They're trying to, why? Because they recognize 2 things. First, they recognize oil's not going to last forever for them. That's why they've invested in so many other things, because they want to be on the precipice of, whatever's coming next, they want to be on, whether it is just AI or whether they want to be right at the forefront of it, because the fear is, hey, this is going to run out one day, or somebody is going to invent something where it's just, it's just, you go, whew, and the car takes off. So that's their fear. And they don't want to get back to where they were way back in the day when there was just nothing else out there. So they're doing all of these things. And yes, military is part of it as well. So when I see a lot of people out there, well, what happened to Khashoggi? There he was, this powerful, voice of freedom in a place where there isn't any freedom, and he was murdered. It was awful what happened to him. It was. And, Trump today, I don't know what he said. They made it seem like he said it was no big deal, or, stuff happens or whatever, which sounds like something Trump would say. But Trump didn't do it. He didn't. And yes, they knew it happened. All that aside, we still have to deal with him because of Israel. And that was the big thing too. He's saying to them, and Israel's pissed that we have him here today because we're selling him F-35s. Why? Because they have F-35s. And they don't want the matching kind of thing going on there, right? They don't want any of that. They want to be the kings of the Middle East and whatnot. Well, they are, because we're behind their backs, Israel. And so
they don't have to worry about any parity military-wise with another country over there that hates them.
No chance. No chance. No chance. And they just asked for a new, by the way, this is the other thing Israel just asked for. Israel sees the writing on the wall when it comes to America and really the West, and kind of how they've said, all right, we've had enough of endless wars. And they asked us for a 20-year defense deal, like a contract with them. So we signed it for 20 years because they know we're not You're not going to get, because if it's a Democrat that wins in 2028, they're not getting a 20-year defense deal. They're not. They're not getting a 10-year. They may get a year-to-year. They may get a 5-year. It is, and it may, even if it might be a Republican that wins that says, you know what? It's one thing to be an ally to Israel. It's another thing to be essentially feeling like we're their gopher. And so, yeah, they're trying their hardest there. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Israel coming up later. They are going to be voting here soon. Mike Johnson thinks it's going to be unanimous. How weird is it? So think about all of these Congress people who are going to vote yes today, but Saturday they were doing nothing but criticizing this as a Democrat hoax. Now they're going to go vote for it. How do you square that with your world? Now it's up to Thune, and I don't know what Thune's going to do. I don't. I mean, I don't think he has a choice but to get it through. Now the question is going to be, and like I've said over and over again, the question is going to be, what do we see? Trump, is going to sign it. He's going to say, I put it out there. You guys just aren't happy with it. There's always going to be people that aren't happy with it. Blah, 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 blah. But if I was joking with Bell yesterday. They're like, all right, here's all the files. There's 8 pages. That's it. 8 pages. That's all we had. 8 pages.
Well, they could put out 150 pages unredacted and people would go, you're hiding stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And the women, I want to see what the women are going to do. The women whose voices now, a lot of them we know, we see. And remember, there's 1,000 of them. What do they say if they're like, oh, yeah, there was nobody here, nobody there? What'd you say last hour? The only person that paid the price at all for anything and no jail time.
Well, the only male, because Ghislaine's
the only male. Ghislaine. But yeah, no jail time. Well, of course, it's always about the women. Right? But it was Prince Andrew, who's not a prince anymore. I don't even know what we call him.
Dude.
That's it. And no jail time. No jail time. So they're going to vote soon. Currently, they're voting now. All right. Lots of yays. So far, no nays. We're rolling through this, so we should have the final vote here in a little bit. Mike Johnson thinks it's going to be unanimous. Then on to the Senate, and we'll see how long it takes them to Trump gets it. And remember, Trump could have just said release them all, and that could have happened. And he decided not to. Put us through all this.
He went through all that trouble not to swear in, what's her name, from Arizona, because she was the deciding vote. And now it's going to be unanimous.
Yep, unanimous indeed. All right, coming up, a lot of stuff still to get to. It is Hot Take Tuesday. We got some hot takes. My favorite hot take so far today, though, has been Ken's. Ken did something. Let's just put it. His hot take is Ken.
This is true.
Ken's hot take is himself, which I love.
Grief.
But I love it, Ken.
Ruined my freaking day, man.
Oh, wait till you guys hear what this is. Lots of hot takes. Remember your hot take, if you're going to send us one, 0 politics. Just throw other fun stuff out there. And we're going to also start asking you for One Hit Wonder Wednesday, which is tomorrow. So get your One Hit Wonder in, no matter what that is. You can text the program. You can tweet at us, at Chad Benson Show is mine. This is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Currently, there are no nays. It's all yays.
Not even close to being finished, though.
No, it's not, but I don't think anybody's going to vote against it at this point in time.
Well, and here's the thing, man. What sort of weird curveball is going to come out of this? Because there's always some little weird off-ramp when it involves Congress.
You're absolutely correct. There's going to be something there.
Like some sort of thing, we couldn't release all.
Yeah, that's just it. Couldn't release all, or we only had these, or we can't find the other ones, or coffee fell on the zip drive, or there'll be something.
Or this was just
threat to national security.
Or this was just a vote to talk about the vote.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one right there. That's a good one. Because what did Mike Johnson say? So that way they can go and kind of sort this out or something. You're like,
Fix something.
Yeah, fix something. Speaking of fixing something, let's get serious and talk about hot takes. Hot take Tuesday. All right, kids, hot take Tuesday. My hot take is I love Thanksgiving. I don't like butt stuffing. That stupid stuff they put in there that's horrible. Right? It's just like a sponge. If it's not done right, it's awful and horrible. But I don't like pie.
What if it's done right?
Very rarely is it ever done right.
But if it's done right, you'll eat it?
I'll eat it because even then I'm not a fan.
All right.
But we were talking about pie earlier. I don't like pie. I just don't. I don't even really like cake. I don't. You know what I like? What I like. It's a great Peter Griffin said. And I only like what I like. And that's it. So I don't like apple pie. I don't like pie a la mode. I don't like cheesecake. I just don't like sweets. It's never been my jam. So that's my hot take. Ken, tell us about you. Hot take you.
Here we go. DIY stands for destroy it yourself, which is exactly what happened to me this morning in my little Hyundai Elantra. I'm replacing the brake lights. I've got the driver's side done. I've got the passenger side done. All that's left is the little light in the back windshield. All I had to do was you just twist the little fixture. Out comes the bulb, and you take it out and you replace it, right? No. I twist the little bulb, and the entire attachment crumbles like a Ritz cracker and just falls off into my trunk. Everything.
Ritz are pretty flaky, too.
They are. Well, that's the whole point. Do you think, was it your strength? Was it the fact that you can't be stopped because of your strength? Or was it because, it's us?
So what happened is I turned it counterclockwise. It moved. Then you got to pull it.
Oh.
I turned it. Then I went to pull it and just.
Yeah, he pulled a Conan. That's what happened.
You crushed its soul. It was like right there. Next thing you know, gone.
I think I still have a piece of plastic or something in my hand.
Let's crush our enemies. So there you go. DIY. Destroy it yourself. That is from our buddy Ken.
All this was going to cost me $8.
Well, now it's going to cost you frustration, which you can't put a price on, and another $8 because you're probably going to have to fix something. See what I'm saying there? And a drive over to somewhere.
I'm not doing it, dude.
It's it. We're leaving it like it is.
I've got 2 brake lights. If you don't see my passenger and my driver's side, I don't know what to tell.
His air conditioning doesn't work. Do you think he cares about the brake lights?
The engine could fall out of his car, and he'd be like, "I'm just going to keep driving."
I am. I'm just gonna drift behind folks. All right. What do you got for us, Bell?
Any company that offers an introductory price on something can afford to continue that introductory price at any given time. So I will be calling SiriusXM today to tell them that if they jack my price from $6.50 up to $22 and change, that I won't be using their service anymore.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
I agree.
Last hour, several people said, hey, they did the same thing. They called and they said, one guy said, my wife's never paid anything more than the introductory price.
Well, I'm definitely doing that because I ain't paying that much after 2 years of having that same price.
That is... Man, that's a hell of a price right there. That's a jump that you're not ready for.
That's a big jump.
I also think that they're so desperate for subscribers that they'll like the listener said, they'll give in.
Yeah, that is. You know what? That's another. Well, they are desperate. I know. Are they desperate for subscribers?
Yes, they are doing their best to try to convert themselves to a streaming platform, and it's going really difficult for them.
Oh, is that where they're trying to focus on? Like, not just in the car, but come out over here and stream us?
Yeah, it's like they're literally making content that they want to be used for a streaming platform, and it just gets broadcast on the radio first.
Somebody said, I got 3 years at $3 a month.
Awesome.
Oh, that is great.
And it should just stay that way.
People say, call, threaten to cancel. They'll go with it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one right there. I like that.
That's why I got rid of YouTube TV. I'm tired of it. Every year, even if there's not some sort of dispute with one of the streaming services or channels, they still jack your price up every year.
Yeah, and right now you're not getting any ABC stuff.
No, I think it came back.
No, it came back, but
what are you paying a month?
I was nearly $100 a month.
Yes.
And they haven't announced a price hike yet, but it's coming because they're not going to eat that themselves.
No, they're not. Hell no, they're not going to eat that. And what do people like? people like live sports, and YouTube TV has that, and they recognize ABC, but for college football, and the NFL for ESPN, they recognize that people are willing to pay a little bit more for the live sports. That was what this was not about, whatever show. I don't even know what show ABC has on anymore. I was going to say Two Men and a Baby. I don't even know what they have.
$6 Million Man?
$6 Million Man.
Got canceled a while ago.
I have no idea. I have zero idea. That's how much I know about television. All right, coming up, talk a little bit about Epstein. They're voting as we speak currently. It's 214-0. The yays are winning. Oh, we got a nay. A Republican nay. Who is that?
Thomas Massey.
Yeah, just now that you guys are over there, I'm going over here.
Be a contrarian.
Yeah.
It's just.
So that would be funny.
Oh,
my Lord. All right, we'll talk about this, among other things, straight ahead. Chad Benson Show. Super Town 99.7. Dun, 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 dun. So earlier today on my national show, my buddy on the show, he is a military analyst, retired major, stuff with NATO, teaches at the old West Point and stuff. And smart guy, we were talking about Venezuela. And I said to him, I'm going to play several minutes here about Venezuela because he's in the mix for all of this stuff. He's talking to people on a daily basis that is going to be there, and being a guy that served in multiple theaters of combat. I asked him, I said, dude, let's be real. We got the Gerald R. Ford there, right, Mike? Mike Lyons' his name. We didn't get dressed up for nothing. So what is like the end game? What's the plan?
Yeah, good morning, Chad. The thing is, I spent the most time talking with other folks about this issue, and we all came to the conclusion that nobody really understands the strategy here. No one knows specifically what we're trying to do besides project power. For someone that's trying to win the Nobel Peace Prize, the ground invasion into Venezuela doesn't make any sense. The thing is, you're dealing with professionals, right? All of the military chain of command, top to bottom, are professionals, and they'll do any job that's assigned to them, and they get these legal orders. But what specifically is that? JSOC, all those special ops, all those guys are standing by, trying to figure out what specifically is the mission here. I don't see putting boots on the ground inside of Venezuela. I don't see that kind of regime change being conducted by the U.S. It's not Panama. And so we've got to push harder on what specifically is going on here. But to your point, they have dressed up the military, and there's a lot of firepower there, taking out a couple of speedboats, bringing small volumes of cocaine to the United States. It's just too much of a projection of power.
Talking to Mike Lyons, military analyst, we talk about all things when it comes to military. Again, we're dressed up. We got so many. I don't know how many. We're up to like 10,000. Soldiers that are there. We've got the ginormous ships. We've got the firepower when it comes to our drones, and even now some of our planes. The reality of going in on the ground is way different because while their military isn't the Venezuelan military isn't very modern. What they do have is they have a militia from the Bolivars. They also have enough that would cause hell. And what we have over there isn't going to be enough to handle if we try to go in there.
No, and that's the tell in that the Army's not involved. This has been a maritime Navy operation from the beginning, taken away from the Coast Guard, really. This narco-terrorism projection, a lot of performative things, I think, taking place here. I think the blowing up of the boats is really just that performative. But without the Army involved, I don't see anything going on the ground. And you can send in, again, small units and the like that can go after some of these facilities and try to do the counterterrorism things that take place that we've done in other countries. They've made this analogy towards Afghanistan and how they're communicating and their KIAs and everything, and all that goes with that means that this is not going to be an operation, I think, until the Army gets involved. Once we see the Army start to deploy troops there from the 82nd, from the 101st, from the units that have the kind of capability, the helicopters and the like, then we have to really sit up and pay attention. Right? It still looks more like a projection of power.
So your gut. What's your gut say? Is this just a projection of power, and eventually we're going to try to work? I mean, he said, "Come take all the stuff you want. We don't really care."
Yeah.
But that's not enough, and they don't really. I mean, the other side of it, and I've been explaining this to people, as they said, "Well, it's the Monroe document. It's this, that, and the other." I'm like, first of all, everybody knows we're badasses. Nobody's going to mess with us, and we can control everything. So I think that's a little. We don't need that, but we don't. There is no clear person to take over. The person that won last year doesn't even have any kind of, they're not in the country. Then you've got that other lady who, they've talked about this 100-hour thing that we'll do. My fear is we depose him, and all of a sudden there's a civil war breaking out.
Yeah, that's what the playbook has been in the past historically, and you're right. We don't have to send a strike group to the Caribbean in order to project power because this is our hemisphere from the Monroe Doctrine. Everybody recognizes that. Again, this is where I just don't know what the strategy is. I think that would be the worst possible thing. Venezuela is flush with rare earth minerals, with resources, and obviously the socialism is what put it into the position it's in today. If you want a good example from a historical perspective, but there's no military solution. I just don't see the military solution here, and it won't stop the amount of cocaine coming out of Colombia. That has to be fixed at that root source as well. And then, of course, the challenge in Mexico, where it gets combined with the Chinese-made fentanyl and then distributed to the United States. Are we going to invade Mexico? Is that the next shoot a drop here? So again, I just don't understand the strategy. I don't think they've done a very good job of explaining it as well.
So it's Mike Lyons, military analyst. Spoke with him earlier today, and this is what he does. I mean, has been on and in several theaters and has drawn up, at West Point. I mean, this is what he does every day in contact with all these people talking, and they're like, we have no idea what we're doing. We don't have any idea what's going on. And it's just, as I was joking, we don't get dressed up for nothing. If you've seen Braveheart, where they're all getting ready to have that big fight, and then he turns and we didn't get dressed up for nothing. It's the same thing. We didn't get dressed up to show up and to do what? Some maneuvers out there? And the question about everybody's like, don't think of Iraq, think of Panama. No, you've got way too many issues here with more firepower, by the way. And what does it look like if we do go and we don't have enough people in? If the army starts showing up, then you know that it's probably going to get serious. And Trump has already said, I've not ruled out boots on the ground. But then who runs the country? A person that's not there, that won the election, that nobody's like, we recognized them last year, or you've got this lady who won the Nobel Peace Prize. And by the way, the first thing she said she's going to do, she's going to move the Venezuelan consulate or embassy to Jerusalem. That's her first thing she said she was going to do if she takes over. What does that have to do with anything? And then you've got Lindsey Graham out there going, it's because of Hezbollah. That's why we need to attack. And you're just like, has that guy ever met something he didn't want to invade or blow up outside of a, strip club? Stop it, Chad. So, it's going to be interesting. There's no doubt. And then today, of course, he said, well, what about Mexico? And that's what I've said. If we're going to get serious, isn't it about Mexico? I mean, yeah, cocaine is a big issue, kind of, sort of, in the 80s. Where do you have to get cocaine? You have to get in a time machine. I mean, it's not like there's no meth there. I mean, it comes from Mexico and China, and the components of it are all assembled there, and then it gets here. But we also aren't addressing the other thing that we need to address, which is, our consumption of it, which is out of control still. Our consumption of this stuff is massive. So we will see. Mexico could be next. Colombia, you could be on the docket as well. We're not quite sure. But we got stuff, so be prepared. And I know, and again, I don't know what it would look like if we went into Mexico, because we're not going to go in, with boots on the ground, but shine bombs threatened. How dare you even think about it? They're our number one trade partner. What would that do? That would be crazy if we decided to get involved in that way. And they're having serious issues because of the fact that a lot of people do not feel that their government is holding up their end of the bargain. They're bought, they're paid for from the cartels, is the way everybody looks at it. And those who want to speak up, well, they're eliminated fast. I mean, that's a modern society. You know, when you think about, like, everybody thinks, well, Mexico's this. No, you go into Mexico, yes, there are many areas that are run down, and it's dirt floors. My grandmother, or my great-grandmother, we used to go to her house in Mexico, and it wasn't just like, oh, is it like Tijuana? No, we drove like 10 hours in, and you go there, she had a dirt floor. She had a dirt floor. She was proud. She took care of it. You know, she would never move. My grandfather tried to move her 1,000 times, and she would never move. But those places, like when you get into big major cities, you know, Mexico City is like Barcelona. But it's the outskirts, and it's close to the border. And so could we see drone attacks? It's possible. I don't think we'll see an invasion by us. But the Venezuela stuff's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because we didn't get dressed up for nothing. Meanwhile, unity in Congress. Unity. All but one. Do we know who the one was that did not vote for it?
Yes.
Who was it?
Republican Clay Higgins of Louisiana.
You scumbag. You rebel scum. Why? Was there a reason?
Don't know yet.
Pushed the wrong thing?
I'll have to check his socials.
That's probably why.
Maybe he knows he's in the papers.
Yeah, that's it. People are talking about me because I voted no. So it was a Republican that voted no. Clay Higgins. What are you doing, Clay? Can't believe you, Clay. Clay Higgins. Oh, the first thing that pops up with Clay Higgins is him in a trench coat with one of those like fedora hats that makes him look like he's a spy. And the first thing that came to my mind, this guy is all about QAnon. He's never met a chemtrail. He doesn't believe his alien stuff. So he voted no. I have a principled no on this bill from the beginning. This was wrong with the bill 3 months ago. It's wrong today. It abandons 250 years of criminal justice procedure, is what he's saying, of why he voted on it. If enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigation files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt, not by my vote. Well, here's the thing, and I want to remind everybody of this. Oh, people will get hurt. Who's going to get hurt? You know what? You know what they're not doing? They're looking to prosecute these people and investigate them like they're looking to catch the killer of Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. They're not looking for them. They know where these are. Do you think any of these people that are in here are in any way, shape, or form going to be prosecuted or investigated? No, not going to happen. It isn't going to happen. So his thing is, it's a principled no, because I don't want innocent people to be dragged through the mud. I can understand that. But what's not talked about is there a way that you could still investigate? No, we're not going to do that either. Okay. Interesting. Coming up, remember that pilot that tried to exit stage left? He was sentenced. We'll talk about what happened to him. And that was crazy. If you guys don't remember him, took a couple mushrooms and things went a little sideways. Talk about that, among other things, straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. So, I don't know if you guys remember this. Dude freaked out in the cockpit. He was a pilot. Decided, you know what? I'm going to pull these things and bounce.
Prosecutors pushed for a 1-year prison sentence, but lawyers say Emerson was not aware that he has a rare condition, making the effects of psychedelic drugs last for days instead of hours. And the pilot who helped remove him from the cockpit asked the judge not to send Emerson to prison, warning it could discourage other pilots from seeking medical help. The judge agreed, saying pilots are not perfect, they are human, while noting that Emerson has already lost his career and is never allowed to fly a plane again.
Well, that's because...
Yeah, I'd say that goes without saying.
Yeah, and so he tried to pull these two things, and these things would have been the fire extinguishers. If that would have happened, that would have killed the engines, which would have crashed the planes. He was charged. So he got 50 days in jail for the locally in Portland or in Oregon, they charged him. And he got like 50 days in jail, and he gets, I think, 3 years supervised probation. And then here he got basically the same thing. Apparently, the mushrooms stayed in his body way longer than normal people would have had the mushrooms stay in their body.
Yeah, she said days long.
Yeah.
That,
as the kids would say, he was tripping balls.
Yeah.
Man, that's got to be just.
I think I'd have called in sick or something.
Yeah, and the other pilots and stuff, they went to bat and said, look, this was obviously a mistake. He wasn't trying to kill us all. He had issues, and he's never going to work again. So you don't have to worry about that.
He will not be a pilot any longer.
No, he won't be a pilot any longer.
Become a mushroom farmer.
He could be. That could be one of those things. He's got a story to tell. And some people wanted him to go to jail. And look, you're that high in the air, right? There's no pulling over. There isn't like just pull over and we'll fix it.
Nope.
There's none of that. But they said they fought with him originally. So he goes to pull it because they can already start to tell these dudes starting to lose it. Right? They can tell this dude's about ready to twist, right? So they're getting ready. And they said they get into it and they kind of get him into a headlock. And then he just gets up and he leaves the cockpit. And that was it. And then they diverted and, they got him. But he was out of it. Like, that's why people say, well, why, like you said, why didn't he call in? Because he didn't know.
He was tripping
Balls.
Who knows? He might have been okay for a little bit.
He probably
and then
was.
all of a sudden, it just hit him again.
Probably freaking out. And he thought that, from what I understand, he thought that pulling those two things would wake him up because he thought he was asleep.
Goodness.
Which, by the way, that wouldn't have woken him up. That would have just killed everybody.
Yeah.
So he would have never been awoken. But he can't work again. So.
Well, this was pre 9/11, but one time when I was working record promotion, I had a drunk guy who was trying to pull the emergency door open before we took off, and I said something to the attendant about it, and her response was, "Well, what do you want me to do? We're about to take off." That was her response.
There you go. Sounds like somebody who is done with their job. Coming up, hour number 3 of the program. Some more on Epstein. The vote is in. What does it mean? We shall discuss MAGA in a mega war, kind of, sort of. We'll discuss that as well. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.